in the community within the college, they were generally supportive. But we concluded that this is going to sink the Holocaust Center, so we as gracefully as possible, withdrew. Another occasion I might remember, which you were engaged in, Jeff, was the invitation to Tony Judt, a name which many of you may know, Jewish, had lived in a kibbutz in Israel for some years, was a very fine historian, and he was at NYU. And I wanted and did invite him to speak. He had published a book on 50 years after, Europe 45 to 95, the Holocaust in retrospect. The Holocaust as it's regarded, treated, interpreted, or forgotten and so forth, or dismissed, or misinterpreted by the Europeans. It was a marvelous book and perfectly appropriate. So that was in the spring, and he was to speak in the fall. During the summer, he gave a talk, or participated on a panel in one of the high schools, I think public schools here in Riverdale, and he spoke about Israel, and very dismissive. You know, how he became. I don't know quite how to characterize him on his attitude toward Israel, but it was mean, and it was so, and it was baiting. It was, you know, Jews, Zionist or not Zionist. He seemed to want to antagonize, to draw out and so forth. So when it got around that he was going to be our speaker, he wasn't going to speak on Israel at all. We had worked out, I think Jeff and I, that he would conduct a class in-house with our students and faculty who were interested where he could speak about Israel, but enclosed, as it were. Can you shut that off? I belong to the Einstein aging program, and every couple of hours I get a signal to answer a questionnaire. What is my mood? And and there was, at one point, the rabbis, many of the rabbis of Israel were going to come and protest on campus, dressed in prison garb, and bring, you know, as many of their followers and congregants as possible. Well, I didn't back down. I couldn't back down because I was committed to intellectual freedom, and I insisted that it was European history, the Holocaust in that sphere, and so on. And this went on, and opposing arguments and sides got more and more poisoned and antagonistic. And then eventually, finally, Tony withdrew of his own accord. To compound things, the dean of arts somehow got it in her head that I had told him, don't come. I'm canceling this invitation to speak at Manhattan, the Holocaust Center, and so on and so forth. I didn't fall out. She fell out. She never spoke a pleasant word to me in the many years, after that. Well, that's the price one has to pay sometime. But you know, there were some not desperate moments. There were some moments when the Holocaust was in danger, and then, well, it was abolished, wasn't it? In 2007, I was asked by Jeff. Jeff and I were co-directors at that stage. So I was to give the talk for that spring. And it was announced in the Quadrangle, the school newspaper, Professor Schweitzer, this is the last public event of the Holocaust Center. That was a surprise. And I don't know what the reason might have been. The Tony Jupp affair was long in the past, or sufficiently in the past by then. It may have been money, but we were blessed with marvelous, generous donors that kept us going, and that wasn't coming to an end as far as I understood. So I really don't know. But then
I can tell you, I can remind you if you want, Fred.
Okay. I turned the floor over to the testimony of Professor Jeff Horn.
Very, very quickly, you had said it was 10 years since you'd retired. It was time for you to stop running things. And the institution refused to support me at all in order to do anything. And so we said, okay, you want us to work for free forever? No, thank you. And so that was how that worked out.
Yes. So then they had second thoughts. I think there were rumbles, protests, and what have you. And so they decided that the Holocaust Center would go on, and there would be a search committee to find a new director, and that brought us Minaz. Now, when I was not on the committee, but when it came to my ear, suspicious ear, that a Muslim woman was going to head my baby, she's going to take over my baby, I went up in smoke until I read her credentials. And they're marvelous, no doubt about it. And two of her mentors who wrote recommendations for her, I knew their work. I knew one of them in person. And if they vouched for her, she must be first rate. And she was, and she is. And the Holocaust Center, as HGI, rolls on with great success and acceptance worldwide, I might say. So.
Fred, we want to take some pictures. So if people want a photo with Fred,
sure.
Louis is here.
Okay.
My friend and also Fred's friend, who's going to take nice photographs so we can put them up on the website. So if you'd like to go up and take a photo, it'd be great.
Okay.
And then please have some cheese and cookies on your way out, or like Claire, I'll see you soon. It's good to see you. Take a picture. Gordon, I haven't seen you off Facebook in a very long time.